I swear, I will see the world my mother wished for.
If I die tomorrow, I hope you hear these words. I ain't here to flip no birds or sip no serve. Hope the future generations can get this urge. Stay woke, youngin', and avenge these nerds.
Yo, welcome to Hot Tuesdays. It's burning up outside. Oh god, dude, it's so fucking hot. It's been so fucking hot this whole week.
Indeed,
you guys
it is.
go outside?
Bro,
Yeah.
I tried not to be outside.
And literally, it was
I gotta-
walking the dog.
The
World's
real
working
field temperature
remote,
is like
yeah.
103
Gotta-
or some wildness. I was like, no, I'm good.
Walking the dog, gotta go to groceries and all the other adulting shit.
Delivery.
And the pool
Instacart.
closed early because someone could not put the proper Pampers on their kids, so the pool closed at 4 p.m. So
Yep.
all those people who are coming in after work who want to go take a dip into the pool, they can't.
Had to disinfect the pool.
Yeah. Oh god.
That's
Yeah.
gross.
Indeed,
is.
no one put the covering on. You're supposed to put a water pamper and then a covering.
Oh no.
Exactly.
So for those who are wondering what that opening was, that was our dear friend Keiko from MLA Entertainment, who is known for their web show Project Infinity. She has now converted it over into a continuing series as a webcomic on Webtoons. So Keiko, congratulations for that. Always a great friend and supporter of the show. Definitely go check out MLA Entertainment with what they've been doing over there. And the voice you guys have heard that was talking in that trailer is actually Tom Aglio. Tom is also the guy who you've heard possibly in some AT&T commercials. You've heard him in some games. He's gotten a deal to work on some animations right now. And also too, he is the Papa John's guy who you hear better ingredients, better pizza, Papa John's. So shout out to you too, Tom. But yeah, how's everybody dealing with this fucking heat? It's fucking
We are
hot.
getting by, my friend.
Staying in the AC. That's all I'm doing.
Basically.
Staying in the AC. I avoid the heat. I don't entertain it.
I've only been outside if I have to, and even then, this AC has just been on full blast.
I've been telling people about the New York story, like, when you go to those subway stations that have the overhead fans on these hot days and all they're doing is blowing even hotter air on top of you. I was like,
Yep.
who thought of that?
The
I don't
1, 2,
miss
3
that.
train on 96th Street, or
I do not miss that shit
the 4, 5,
whatsoever.
6 on Union Square. Disgusting right now. I
Ugh.
guarantee it's disgusting.
Yeah, and
God.
The concourse was rough. 125 was rough.
Yep.
That's one thing I don't miss, having to commute in the summer and then taking the train
Mm-hmm.
and just sweaty and disgusting and uncomfortable. And
oh, I just remember having to travel to the job site, and like the job site that me and Val worked at wasn't one of the easiest places to get to in the Bronx because sometimes you had to take extra transportation to get there unless you had that cab money and you were good. Remember those summer days?
I had to take a train, 2 trains and a bus to get to work those days. And it was never fun. And definitely cabs was more frequent than anything else.
When you make that money.
Wish me luck. I've sent out at least 100 or more applications within the last week and a half. So
Good luck. Get it.
Good luck. Yes.
Get that dollars, bro. Get them dollars. But
I don't like this process at all.
speaking,
it's a shitty process, dude.
it is.
That
One of
it
the funnest
is.
economies. At least gas is going down now. So,
Is it?
but yeah,
Yeah, we're
Yeah,
not.
was
As
I don't
close,
drive.
we're not as close to 5 as we were.
I thought it passed 5 at a certain point. No.
Oh, we went above and beyond, but we've now come back down to earth at around.
Oh.
I think it was 420 something when I filled up a couple days ago.
Nice. Okay.
so
So that's a good
419 I last
sign.
checked. It's a good sign.
Something getting better is a sign. No. Yes. I don't know.
You want to know what else is better? Announcements.
Jesus.
So for some announcements, let's get these announcements out the way because I actually got a lot of announcements this week. So guys, make sure you tune into the Medusa's Cascade podcast for the and Beyond. Is on Spotify or wherever you listen to podcasts. It's the D&D podcast that continues to be chaotic, continues to have adventures, and again, it's going on how many episodes now, Law?
I think this week is episode 89 that just dropped, and 90 will be coming out, if I'm not mistaken.
Guys, tune in, listen, enjoy. It's probably one of the most chaotic parties right now.
This week coming up will be episode 90.
Also, speaking of Law, make sure you're following his Twitch channel in the description. You can catch him live on Wednesdays, Thursdays, and Sundays.
I'm back on Wednesday. I've taken a break, a very needed break again, because I just needed to get applications out and focus on finding a job.
Sometimes you need to take breaks, but yeah, make sure Wednesday, Thursdays, Sundays. Make sure you're following him on there. The times are listed in the description, guys. Make sure you give him that sub, that subscription, follow. All your support does count. So we all thank you for the support. Also, too, speaking of support, today, Concrete Combat Chapter 1 Part 2 launched today on the Patreon on patreon.com. / Bonet Studios. You get to meet the Gordon family this part. So you get to meet the Gordon family and everybody's favorite D&D character was repurposed for this too as well. Kyver makes his debut in this part.
There you go. Anywhere to fit anywhere to fit in Kyver.
Yep. He fits in. He is my D&D character.
Got it. Okay.
Who's been doing shit all, I guess, because we haven't seen Kyver and
he's lost in Queens somewhere. I don't know, man. He took an Uber to the wrong place. But anyway, yeah, it released today. So go subscribe to the Patreon. It's released. Part 3 is coming out on next Tuesday. And I gotta thank George Medina for being the letterer. You can see some of the artwork behind me. He lettered the pages. And speaking of George, I am doing a little bit of a press tour. So tomorrow I'll be on Catch the Craze at 8 p.m. talking about the comic. And at 11:30 p.m. after that, I'll be on the Written Writ from Bit and Apple again, talking about the writing process. This Saturday, I'll be making an appearance at Ghost Icon, just coming around saying what's up to everybody. So if you see me, come say what's up. And on Sunday at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, I will be doing a live drawing for my YouTube channel for Ghost Eye for their virtual show. So come by, say what's up. But those are the announcements.
I also have another episode that I just recorded with Charlie over on Sketchfed, so that should be coming out sometime this week.
Yeah, nice. Charlie has been really talking about that. Congratulations to you and Charlie. I mean, it's always dope getting together with Charlie with the interviews and all that. We got to get him to he has to do a one-on-one with Tone and then a one-on-one with Val. Get you both there. There we go. Boom, boom. He has all the nerds.
I don't know who Charlie is.
You will meet Charlie. He was supposed to come. People. Oh yeah. We call him Reverend Charlie.
Is the other half of Sketchfed.
Yeah, he's Sean's better half.
I'm so bad with names. I'll pretend to know everyone. Okay.
That's it. Fake it till make it.
Yep. That's it. Nod, smile, and wave. That's it.
We'll have a
oh yes, okay.
We'll have another Sketchfed crossover. But today I am drinking some Dream Patch. I'm trying to enjoy this. This is from the brewery from Armor Gang. So it's like juice right now.
Toad's face right now.
It's like real juice. It's a sour. It's really good.
Toad's face.
I am drinking beverage in nondescript vessel.
There you go.
Agreed. Well, Hulu vessel. I don't know why we introduce our drinks. Is that something?
You want to know what it is?
When did that happen?
I think it's the heat, man. The heat's just really affecting the brain.
No, we have central air, man. Cut it out,
bro. Stop it.
It's going on. It's going on a minute. So anyway, what are we talking about tonight, guys? We got Prey and Sandman on the mind.
We got Prey, and we got to hear about why you don't like Sandman, Seabass. I think that's kind of what's on the docket.
Can I ask? Because I've only got one episode in, like literally today. Is it possible we don't get too deep into Sandman until I watch it all?
Yeah. I mean, I don't. I'm in episode 5. So it really depends on how far Law wants to go with it, because I know this is like Law's baby. He's been wanting to talk about this for a while.
I'm on episode. I'm halfway in episode 5.
I finished all of it, thinking that we were gonna do all of it. So I'm fine either way.
Yeah.
Well, I think Tone and Seabass is in the same place. Episode 5, right?
I'm halfway.
Seabass has said he stopped.
I stopped halfway in episode 5.
You can't give up.
No. Let me clarify this. I don't.
A man will watch shitty anime all the way through.
Wait. Let me.
I can't watch a half TV show.
I don't hate the show. It's just it's
My
one
man
of those
watched
shows.
Resident Evil.
Hold on,
Right,
hold
no
on.
I
one
didn't
was
watch it in
watching
one
that.
Hold on,
sitting.
time
I
out.
didn't watch that in one sitting.
I got this right now.
I watched Resident Evil each episode, but I didn't watch it like I binge watched it. I can't,
Well, you don't
for some
watch any
reason.
of the good stuff we give you, but you want to give up
I'm
on the bad.
watching-
So we are gonna
No,
call
I
this
didn't
segment
say-
because it always happens. We're gonna call this segment "Explain Yourself, Seabass."
All right, I'm gonna explain. You give me the mic, and I will explain myself. So, I don't hate Sandman. It's one of those shows that I'm watching, and I don't know. I can't binge watch it. I can't watch episodes back to back with the show because once I start getting into the next episode, I know I just start losing focus for some reason. It's not a bad show. The visuals are beautiful. I do like what they did with some parts of the show, like introducing Joanna Constantine. But I can't watch these episodes back to back. I have to break it up, and that's just me. I can't. It's just one of those episodes that I'm like, you know what? It's one of those shows I felt that should have just been dropping every week, not
Okay,
just
let
like.
me ask you a
hey,
question then.
Go ahead.
How far you got in C?
How far I got in C? On
Okay,
the
see,
first episode.
everything you just said thrown out the window. No.
Oh man.
There's a legit excuse for that though. I keep forgetting to load the Apple TV into the phone, and it's quiet. So, but no, see, I will have C watch by next week. I guarantee you.
All right,
I
so
know
we
I
got
said
here-
last week,
what we
but I
got
gave
here
it
is-
a break.
We got
Gave up on the
George
dream.
did, and we got George.
Yo, what's going on, George?
What's up, George?
Looking forward for partying
Yeah,
with you
George
tomorrow,
And
brother.
Doc, what's going on, fellas?
Yeah, but
Um,
Sandman is not a bad show. It's not. Definitely for those who love the
Are you
word
gonna
video
finish
gaming.
it?
Yeah, I'm gonna finish it. I'm gonna finish it.
Okay, all right.
I
Because
just can't watch it back to back. I can't. I'm being honest. I can't. I tried.
I just don't understand. Like, I find it. We've been
I
finding
think
it pretty,
it's interesting. I only
pretty
saw one
compelling,
episode,
pretty
and that was only because of
interesting.
timing.
There's been
wow.
a couple. What? What?
George, you might have to explain yourself, brother.
What?
You might have to come
What?
on
First
and
of all, I
explain
think
yourself.
we all consensus. We all loved Prey.
That was
Yes.
good. Yeah.
So
George, you got
good.
2 people in the Bronx that are
Also,
close to. They're gonna bring
yeah,
this way.
okay,
okay.
Okay.
Oh,
Okay.
Bro,
okay,
bro,
I was
okay.
about to
bro.
say.
Yo, we was
We're
ready
about to
to
beat you
drag
with the
Yeah,
chop
we
cheese
was about
sandwich.
We was
we were
ready
about
to
to fight right
drag
now.
you,
Woo.
sir.
They were
Oh
about to.
no!
Or else make sure you check the bill. Your package
Put
is
put
coming.
George on full blast. Like, excuse
Yeah,
me.
I cannot.
I can't put George hooked me up. George hooked up the alerts. I can't put George on full blast. I'll give him a chop cheese.
So, yo, dead
Actually,
serious.
factual.
But no, yeah. So we're
what
talking
are-
about
what are
Prey.
we
So we
start-
could
what are we
dive
starting
into
with?
Prey.
Let's dive into Prey.
I mean, the thing is with Sandman, I only got an episode in, and I don't want to get too deep because I'm not there yet.
Okay.
I enjoy the show so far. From what I saw, it's very interesting. I'm going to continue to watch. I know you guys are a little further than I am. So I'd like to hear what you guys have to say, but without giving too much, if possible.
I only have one more thing to say about Sandman, and this is the only Charles Dance. I'm sorry, dude. First of all, in Game
Who's
of
that?
Thrones, he is the guy who
Tywin Lannister.
Brother
Tyrion
Mumsy.
Lannister. Yeah.
Magus.
Yeah.
Brother Numsy.
I'm glad you got it, brother.
Golden Child.
Yes.
Oh yes. He's in the
Brother
game.
Numsy. Okay.
So Charles Dance. Let's give it up for this guy, Mr. Daddy, who for some reason in Game of Thrones got killed by his kid on the throne, and now again gets off by his
on
kid.
Father's Day.
And it's on Father's Day.
That episode aired on Father's Day.
It did. It
Yeah.
did. It did.
Oh man. But yeah, it's
So good. I can't wait for that
I
to
laughed
come
very
back.
hard. I was like, oh man, you got killed by your kid again.
And so inadvertently.
Yeah.
It was just like very.
Yeah.
But
At
I love
least it
him.
wasn't on the
He's a
shitter
good
this
actor.
time with an arrow in your
So if
stomach.
we're all right, if we're starting with Sandman, I guess I'll be toned for this because I guess I know all the lore.
Yes,
Wait,
please.
wait,
Would you-
we're gonna give you the there you go. The whole spot.
Okay.
I mean, I don't
Um,
think. I think we can just lightly, briefly talk about it, and then
Yeah,
after
yeah,
we all
absolutely.
finish it,
Yeah.
we'll go
We
over
can
it.
do a full show.
I actually started. I'm reading book 1 because it's on Comics Unlimited,
Yeah.
Comixology. So, I will say before we
How
jump
do you guys
in,
find the time?
I read at night in bed because it's on my phone.
Usually I try to watch stuff at night, but
Because I
like said,
honestly, I'll be honest, to be 100, my reading like sunk in the tank because I would do all my reading on the train.
Me too.
That's when
That
all
was
my
it.
reading happened. So it's been really hard for me to read at home, although I should be practicing reading so my kids see me reading, which means they want to read. But anyway, that's a whole other issue. So I read all of my comics at night on my phone before bed.
Got it.
So that's how I do it. My point to you, Law, is that after the diner episode and the episode after that, when Dream is dealing with Professor Lupin,
with John
does it feel? It felt. I don't know. It felt just he dealt with him, and that was it, and then moved on to the next portion of it, the next half. I don't know if that's like book 1, book 2. It just felt like dealing with Professor Lupin. I thought he was going to be a bigger deal, and then it ended up being a wash.
So essentially, that is season 1 is kind of book 1 and 2.
Yeah, I figured like book 1 is, I'm assuming, episodes 1 through 5. He goes, gets all his gear.
Right. It's what happened to him. He got locked. Got captured. Has to get his stuff back. Doing the whole thing. He left his post, and everyone feels slighted about it. That kind of thing. Kind of get introduced to his siblings by name, but like you really only get introduced to like 1 or 2 or 3 of them. Throughout
the series.
Yeah.
So we're gonna see like Despair.
We see
Desire.
Death, Desire, and there's one more.
You see Death, Desire, and Death, Despair, Desire. Those 3, yeah.
Okay.
Those are 3 you see. And then you hear of other ones. You hear of other ones, and
in
that
the books,
one is technically missing.
There's it's 10 trade-backs. It's 75 issues.
Oh,
it's a lot. It's a lot. It's a big compendium. So
think of it as like they introduced the end, or he introduced the Endless, which is what they are. The Endless are not necessarily gods. They are more powerful in some regards than gods, because they are the most genuine raw elements of something. Like everything possesses desire, and everything dreams, and everything has despair. So all of these fundamental things are who they are, and they are the representatives of those concepts and ideas.
I see 7 of them: Death, Delirium, Desire, Despair, Destiny, Destruction, and then Dream.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And they're called the Endless.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
This is very interesting. I'm interested so far. I like what I saw in the first episode, especially how it ended.
Mm-hmm.
I like that it didn't drag on so much on the back stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's intended or if it was like just for the show.
You'll learn way more about Dream, like, because essentially Sandman obviously is his whole story, but a lot of his story is also involving other things outside of him that directly affect him. So you'll see other stories where you see him kind of, but then you'll see like main other characters where he has to intervene because like they're dealing with things in his realm, or things that should be more under his control, and they're starting to get out of control.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think we should definitely do a full.
Like,
for the
have you guys gotten to the part where he meets Lucifer Morningstar?
I did.
That episode was fantastic.
That episode was yeah. That episode was good. That was the episode before episode 5. That was episode 4.
Yeah, because the diner is episode 5.
Okay.
I think
So
episode
the diner is an insane. I was waiting for that episode because I remembered like someone brought it up on like Twitter or something like that, and I was like, oh shit, how are they going to do that? Because in the comic, it's obviously everything was written in the 80s and like the whatnot. So to like see how they did it now, they did a really good job with not only the dialogue staying true, but a lot of the scenes are almost 1-to-1, and it's amazing to see that. Like you don't really get to see that in a lot of adaptations like that.
Because
I knew from American Gods that I was like, oh yeah, Neil Gaiman's gonna be my dude. Like he knows his stuff. He knows how to create engaging and like very mysterious, like powerful beings, I guess.
But I think that's what Gaiman was known for, is a lot of his stuff like that. Like you say, he did American Gods. He did this
Norse
Sandman.
mythology, Sandman. Yeah.
Like you was reading about it. He did Coraline. Coraline was very supernatural. And Gaiman is just really known in the comic book world with his writing and just writing in general. So had a lot of stuff that was adapted. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
A lot of his stuff, yeah, it's been adapted into TV and everything. Like I said, for me, it's one of those shows that I can't binge watch it. I don't think that this is a show that you can sit and binge watch unless you're a super fan. But if you're just getting into it, it's a good watch. It is great to put in your library of stuff to watch when, I feel for me,
I think
it's a show I want to take my time. Yeah.
I think you could break it up into chunks. I would say if you're not going to binge watch it, break it up into like, it's really 2 books. So you're really going to get, I think it's episode 5 or 6 is ending of like book 1. And then everything after is book 2. And then book 2, like, as far as like reviews are concerned, like everyone feels like it kind of went like this. Cause like the first act felt really strong and really hype. But book 2 really solidifies a lot of like what's going to happen next, I think. Cause like, we don't know that they're going to get a season 2. I would really hope that they're going to get a season 2, because even Neil Gaiman said, like, if they do The Mist, which would be the next book, yeah, I'm looking forward to it. There's a lot. It's just so much. I've gotten up to, I think, book 6, if I'm not mistaken. And I just have to find the other ones so I could put them into my collection.
Well, I want to give kudos to the actor. He looks like definitely that he was born for this role, because
he was
like
their
you look
first
at the
pick.
art. Yeah,
he
if
was
you look
their
at the art,
first pick, and he said like as soon as he saw him, they interviewed and they auditioned a bunch of other people, and no one was him. He was like, he's Dream. Like I don't know like how else, like he is Morpheus.
Wait, is his name Morpheus?
Mm-hmm.
Not Lawrence Fishburne. Lawrence Fishburne's Morpheus was in the Matrix.
Because they all have what? They all have a name, and then they have a something that they control.
Right.
Got it.
And that's
so. I'm trying to find the actual books. What was the actual series titled?
The Sandman.
There's 3 though. So there's the first one, which is 75 issues. Then there was another run, and then there's a third run. But you just got to find the first run, which is issues 1 through 75.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Comics being made into TV.
Because I think essentially you're looking for 10 trade backs, if I'm not mistaken. It's that volume.
Yeah, it's 10 trade backs.
Anyway.
Yeah, so but if you're a fan of Constantine and you're looking forward to like a Matt Ryan Constantine, you're not going to get that. I'm actually glad that they didn't go with that.
Go ahead, Law.
Oh no, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say I think that was smart because we've had John Constantine so many different adaptions. I think it was kind of like you said, you schooled me on it, which was good. I didn't know. I thought that this was a gender swap, but it's actually his relative, which I thought that was cool because we all know John Constantine's story. We've seen it adaptive in so many ways. We've seen Keanu Reeves play. We've seen Matt Reeves. We've seen him in the Arrowverse when they decided to bring the character back, Matt Reeves to reprise the character when his show got canceled. So, I mean, we know the John Constantine story, but it's like, who is Joanna Constantine? I was like, I think that helps the show get away from the whole angle of John Constantine. We're now learning a little bit more about the family instead of the one character who we've only know on media right now on the big screen. Right. So I think that was a smart choice by the director to pick that character.
Yeah, I'm honestly looking forward to like them really diving into like his realm, because you saw like Cain and Abel, which was like really well done in my opinion. They talked about the House of Mystery and the House of Secrets, which if you guys are, again, big Constantine fans, the House of Mystery is that house that is infinite and ever-changing, and where you see Justice League Dark really take place in a lot of those adaptations and whatnot. But yeah, it, like visually stunning. Like I have like nothing but like high praise for the show, because I honestly like with shows that like this, when you have the person who like this is their baby like working on it, like you pretty much like solid, like you're like, all right, cool. but like you can really tell that Neil like took his time, because obviously for he said it in I was watching an interview. He wrote this 30 years ago, so he has to adapt it for now. So things are going to change. Things are going to take new forms, but not everything that he wrote has to be set in some sort of stone, unless it has to be. But he's so open to like interpretation. He was like, Lucifer can be played by anybody. Lucifer's an angel, a fallen angel at that. Like they're genderless. Like you have like this person played by this person. Like I love it. I'm totally here for all of it. John D is a fucking hell of a scary person. And oh man, that whole car ride was just tense.
Well, wait till you see it, Val. I mean, it was good. There was some good writing on the show. Like I said, for me, it's just not one of those shows I can watch back to back. I just have to take it in doses. Because I do enjoy from what I've seen. It's just I want to give the show my full attention. But when I feel like it's melding and I'm dozing off, then I'm like, I know I'm not paying attention to the show. And it's like, it's not that it's just this show does have a pacing to it. It does.
Dialogue heavy. It's lore heavy. There's a lot of moments where you're gonna feel Neil's writing. Like it's just gonna be Neil's writing from like I saw someone on TikTok like pulling like shot from shot like the side by side of the scene versus the comic, and a lot of it is verbatim for the most part. And then at the Prey and Sandman.
I mean, we're not going
too deep. Yeah, we're not going too deep, Tom.
I'm the only one who watched the entire series.
Yeah, I'm halfway through it. Seabass needs to watch it over a number of days, and Val needs to.
I'm only one episode in.
So, but tonight's really more about just kind of overview, thoughts, feelings, and then we'll jump into Prey.
Yeah.
But then also going back to like Sandman himself, like Dream as a character. Because you'll see it later on and you kind of see it throughout the show. Like he is a very like cold character, especially with humanity. Like everything is like my duty. And he basically has to learn to care about the things that he takes care of versus like being so detached and removed. And like, there's an order to things, which I think is really, really good for what comes later on.
Cool.
So you see a little bit of that sadness there.
When you meet Death might be your favorite character, Val. I'm gonna put it out.
That's a great episode. The
so
Death episode is so good. Very good. And even the sequence of the immortal.
Yeah. So he based Death off of like he said, I just wanted someone that I wanted to meet when I died. Like that's how he envisioned Death. So that's how he wrote her. And like in most depictions that you see her, like she's such a like you always think of Death as like the sadness or anger or like whatever, and she's not that.
Freeing?
I wouldn't say freeing. She's basically she's just your taxi driver essentially. She's like, I'm just here to get you to the other side, and help you accept what has transpired.
Got it. Okay.
It's a really beautiful episode.
I'm gonna stick to it. And I probably, because it's only 10 episodes, I probably will end up jumping into the comic book so I know more. Lately,
yes. Oh my god. Yeah.
Different.
Yeah.
Well, Pong has already called a shot for that season, so you will see Pong definitely give his 2 cents on it when we do get to cover the show fully.
Also,
again, I'm gonna finish it.
Give me thoughts before we jump to Prey. Give me those thoughts on Paper Girls. How far did you get?
I'm 4 episodes in. Okay.
4 out of the 8. Okay.
So I got as far as them getting to the machine and jumping into the time rift, but I haven't seen after that. And then we see the character who's manipulating this girl from True Blood. I don't know their characters' names just yet, but I'm loving the direction of this show because I really don't know where it's going, what's going to happen. It's not a predictable show.
Nope.
So and it's so good. These characters are so good. I don't know. I'm loving it so far. When I have the chance
Do
to
you
finish
think
the
the
rest, I'll
guys?
read it.
Is it worth the guys watching?
Absolutely,
Oh,
absolutely.
I was thinking about watching it. I just I knew Sandman was coming up, and all
I
that
think
stuff.
it's worth watching and reading the comic book for you, Tone, especially.
Yeah, I know the first volume is on Comixology, so I did see it when we were talking about it yesterday.
But Val, it is just as confusing to read it, because I remember I read the first, I think 2 issues or what have you, and then there was a huge gap where I was waiting for the next paperback like trade to come out, and I forgot what happened in the other ones, and I was like, how the fuck did they get here? Because there's stuff later on that you're just like,
The episode with Mac meeting her older brother as an adult now,
yeah,
and her trying to come to terms that he's an adult, and he's like, my sister's like, what the fuck kind of thing. I cried when she had to give it up. It was like, you don't even know, like I felt the weight of what she lost in those few minutes in that ride out. You know what I mean? And it was like, wow. And I thought that was such a big moment for her.
yeah.
And I don't know, it was just so good. It was just so good.
You'll get all those moments with all 4 of the girls. Like,
Yeah, I'm
for
realizing,
me, like Mac, you get it early, but like KJ, all of KJ's moments broke my heart. I was like, oh man,
dude,
I just
is
want to
her
give her a
parents
hug.
dead? Like I'm so
No.
did they forget about her?
You'll learn about KJ because there's
Okay.
so much that's like subtle with KJ until it's not, and then you just like replay everything in your head.
She's
You're
a
like,
beast, bro.
I love KJ. KJ's my
Yeah.
girl. Like she's so dope. But all
And
of
the
them,
fact that they go back and then none of them know each other. She said, we weren't even friends. You gave up after the first night.
first day.
So I'm assuming when they finally do get back home, they get their memory wiped and they don't remember any of it.
Not even that. So without going too crazy into it,
Or was it a time, like a splinter?
yeah.
Okay. So none of this has happened before.
Yeah, it's a completely like they're trying to reset the timeline, but they're
Okay.
also like messing up the timeline. So you're falling into that whole paradox of like, if my future self went back to do this, is it, the whole grandfather thing.
Got it. Okay. So good, guys. I think you guys should watch it. And for real, we should do a show. I think we need to do an episode dedicated to Paper Girls.
All right.
I'm just
So
gonna
with
run.
that-
I'm gonna slide like recommendations of Val, and then Val's gonna say yeah, and I'm like, let's go.
Yes. We will follow.
I'm with it. I'm so with it.
You hear how I get about
Quality.
like Sandman, and the boys are just like, I'm like, all right, fine.
Okay.
I get my one.
I was into it. I don't know what you're talking about, Sam. Don't rope me in with this fool down here. Don't rope me in.
Damn.
Don't rope me in.
He
I'm
said,
throw me under
don't
the
rope
bus."
me in with him.
I'm excited.
See,
I'm
Bass, you on that
excited
island by yourself.
I am excited
what?
to finish
You
this
guys.
shit on Thursday. So please do not compare me to Seabass when he made his
When
comments in
you-
Discord.
When
about
you
how
guys
he-
do finish the series, like there's so much
I'm
stuff
being
that
real.
comes full circle and
I don't
like
think it's-
shows true world building because everything is so connected.
Yeah, I'm liking so far the little bit that I've seen you so far. So I'm looking
I mean,
forward
I
to
could-
seeing the rest.
I can tell you this: I do like it better than Jupiter's Legacy, and I fucking hated Jupiter's Legacy. Oh my fucking
I didn't.
God.
Jupiter's
I
Legacy
didn't
wasn't
even watch
great, but
that.
it wasn't horrible.
It was bad. That was
Well,
a bad.
it got
show.
The
It
acting wasn't great. Yeah,
They
the acting
canceled.
wasn't great. The storyline was very predictable, but it was entertaining enough to watch.
I didn't even bother.
It was as entertaining as a
Didn't
tetanus
have to
shot.
watch. You are the first of all, I don't trust your opinion on anything because
Listen,
you
listen.
like Resident Evil.
Well,
No,
no,
I did
no,
not
no.
like Resident Evil. I
Jupiter-
shitted on that.
Jupiter's Legacy. I've heard from a
Wasn't
lot of
great.
sources wasn't great, and
It wasn't
It-
great, but it wasn't
and-
bad.
yeah,
It was watchable, is what I'll say. And I was interested in seeing where it would have gone because there was so much. It left so much questions out, and because they canceled it, I'm never going to get them. But it's
I
fine.
feel like with that show, I'll be honest, they should have the way they did the show. I didn't care about all the present stuff. All the past stuff was the
Yeah.
stuff I liked. If they had started the show that way and then ended that season with now this is the kids and everything on how they got, I think that probably would have been better for the show. But it's just like I didn't care for any of the kids. I didn't care. I didn't care for them. I was like, okay, they're like Kenny to me. Like, oh my God, you killed Kenny, you bastards. Okay, let's keep going with the story. That's how I felt. It's Jupiter's Legacy was just, it was a missed opportunity.
How we got into Jupiter's Legacy? Yes, we
I
are
don't know.
so
We're ready
ready.
for Prey.
Thank
I
you.
know.
Thank you. Yay. Yay. Let's get ready for Prey.
Okay.
Because
I
I'm
pray
not
for
sure
you.
how we
I
went
was-
into
I
Jupiter's
was
Legacy.
It
but
just
okay.
happened.
I'm like, I'm not doing this right now. Oh my goodness.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I heard the
So
comments
Prey.
were better, but
Yeah.
we're bringing it back.
Yes, let's
We're
get
spinning
back
around.
on track.
We're gonna
Are-
pray.
Are we doing a Tone spoiler for this or
No.
Let's do
nah?
it.
No,
Come
no.
on, Tone. Come
It's
on,
a fucking
Tone.
Predator movie.
Come
no,
on. You don't want to spoil it.
we are
Come
spoiled.
on.
There's no need for a spoiler warning for a Predator movie. What's there to spoil?
But
Predator
99
from Alien, come in, invisible, kill things. End of movie. Like that's it. And it's good. that is the formula for a solid Predator movie. The fucking thing comes in, is invisible. You're waiting for shit to go down. You're seeing what the human aspect is, and then they're gonna collide, and we're gonna see what happens. And that's it.
Yeah,
and it better be good.
Pretty much. I thought it was freaking awesome.
Yeah.
No,
I
it
thought
was-
this take was so good. Not only do you see primitive America with natives, but you also see a more primitive Predator, and
Mhm.
I loved it. I loved it so much. I thought it did amazing job. And seeing the girl lead, I think the only one maybe was Sanaa Lathan. In the which one was it that were
Alien
in the
versus
cold?
Predator.
We don't
Was
we
it
don't
that
call
one?
that one. We don't count that. That was a horrible adaptation. Aliens versus Predator.
Shit's
We can't.
awful.
It was technically.
I'm trying to remember anytime there was a female with Predator.
It was that,
well,
and there was
you've
the
got-
second Aliens versus Predator movie. They had another female, but it was like a whole
you had
cast
the
of
fe- you had
characters.
the- you had the female, you had the lady in Predator 1 who was part of the village, part of the freedom fighters. You had the cop in Predator 2. You had another one of the women in
No,
Predator.
I'm talking
From
about
the
like
lead.
the actual hero being the one,
None.
a female.
Yeah, that
No,
was
not the
that
Predator.
was,
one.
that was
It was
Alien versus Predator.
Yeah, the
In the
first one.
colds, you're talking about the cold
Yeah,
where they
with
went into the
Sanaa Lathan,
temple.
right?
Oh,
So
yes.
they found the
Well,
whole
what's
temple. Yeah,
funny-
that was not.
So it's funny, Aliens versus Predator, just to touch upon it, I read the book and they pulled a lot from the book, but what they did, they changed the character, they changed the location because it was supposed to take place on a farming planet, and that's when all hell breaks loose. The Predators didn't know that that humans were there because it was a hunting ground for them, and it was found out that they were the ones that were releasing the aliens on different worlds and sending their young out there to like pretty much it was like a rite of passage, like a hunting thing for them, and all shit went loose when the doctor of the colony bumped into the Predator.
Isn't there something like that already? There was a movie like that as well when they all got dropped onto a planet.
That's Predator.
Yeah, that's Predators.
They
That's
get
Predators.
Yeah, then okay. So let's
But-
get into Prey.
but that but that one the lead in that was Adrian Brody, and the whole aspect was that
That
the
one was
Predators
good too.
that's in my top 3.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Predators in my top 3. It's Predators, it's Predator.
There's no. I
Prey,
don't think there's any
Predator.
bad Predator movie.
Yeah,
It
there
just-
is.
There's
Yes,
some
there
that's
is.
good
The
and some-
Predator from 2018 was trash. That
Yep.
shit took place in
Explain which one is
In a
that one.
school.
the school. That one took place in the school, and then you had the two various races of the Predators fighting each other, and you got the really brolic one and the
Oh,
tiny
with the little
one.
kid with autism.
Yeah, with the
I
little,
thought that was
I
okay.
don't-
That was
I don't know
pretty
if he had-
good.
I don't know if he had autism. I don't remember that. Maybe he did. I don't know.
Yeah, he was on the spectrum.
Oh, okay, that movie sucked,
It was not bad.
and AVP was trash.
And,
And-
yeah.
Predator 2 is just a fun watch.
Okay, whatever. Predator 2 wasn't great. I think that will probably be the lowest one, but that's the one with Danny Glover, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's number 4
Okay.
for me. Predator 2 is number 4.
Nah.
I've
it
never
This-
been
this
like a
is- this is
huge
probably a
Alien
my-
or Predator person, but
I
like
have.
I enjoy them. I know that's why I put you back up there.
I mean, look, I just the Predator from 2018 and AVP are the ones I can't deal with those.
Yeah.
Because
Aliens
AVP
versus-
was supposed to be so good, and it was so trash.
Yeah.
That's
what
what
made
it
it
was.
trash?
Like the
it-
'Cause
whole
it did exactly what it was supposed to do.
it pulled from the books. It did pull from the books, but they changed a lot of stuff, and it was just the studio wanting to have an alien movie take place on Earth. It never took place on Earth. The character was actually of Asian descent. And what was cool about her character is that
We're
when
not
they
talking
did
about, I'm talking about what made the movie bad.
what made the movie, and I'm letting you know what made the movie bad is that there was missed opportunities because the main female character that was in the books, she ends up going at the end of the movie to go live with the Predator. So when you see her in the second Aliens versus Predator book, she knows a lot about the Predator's clan, how to hunt like them and everything. So because she was actually living amongst them and everything, and she actually gets a rivalry with one of them. And Wayland Yutani obviously is always involved. It never took place on Earth. So when they did Aliens versus Predator 2, it was okay because we got the slugfest, because at that time it was a verse movies that were happening, because at that time too we had Freddy versus Jason and all that. But then Aliens versus Predator 2 came out and it was just complete hot garbage. It went from to if they had stuck true to the books and actually followed the books, they could have had a great sci-fi movie in terms of that. But it was the studio always wanted to bring the aliens to Earth, because even Aliens Resurrection, that wasn't supposed to happen. Again, even Alien 3, they were like, oh, it's gonna be on Earth. And I remember my teacher, my
Alien 3
biology
wasn't on Earth.
No, they originally they had advertised it was going to be on Earth, but then they changed it. It was on a space colony, prison planet, and then Alien Resurrection when the plane was coming to Earth with the weird looking alien. So it was just the studio's way, and again it was Fox that's just always trying to figure out a way to bring the aliens to Earth. Which if they followed the comics from after Aliens, they could have done it because it happened in the comics much later, where the aliens had infested Earth and the humans had to leave. It was a crazy read. And the aliens
and that movie was rated PG-13.
30 minutes ago about Sandman. All of this lore knowledge,
and we each have it.
Yep.
And that movie was rated PG-13.
This would be Game of Thrones.
Yeah, that movie was rated PG-13, and it was the next Predator movie that we got after Predators 2. So we haven't had a Predator movie in 14 years. So for AVP to be the next Predator entry, to be rated PG-13, and then to go in the guise of being a versus movie, it just felt like it didn't deliver. It didn't deliver. Yeah.
Prey.
Prey. So Prey. Let's go to Prey. My 2 cents for Prey. I am happy to see this Predator that we got. We got the Savage Predator, who is pretty much it really fits the time period that the Predator shows up on Earth at this time, because it's like you could see, like we were talking in the back room, me, Val, and all, about how the technology isn't up to date like we see in the movies when we first meet the Predator, when he meets Schwarzenegger's character. It's like, especially with where everybody was like expecting with the beams, but it was actually linked to and it just, I don't know, it was just so fucking good. I loved it.
So people said that the reason why that they switched to plasma cannons in Arnold Schwarzenegger's was because of what happened to him at the end of this movie. So you're not like, you're always gonna get an accurate like thing no matter what.
I mean, I think of course they try to give us each Predator more improved than the last.
Yeah.
Because they learn, right? Yeah. And I loved how here he gets dropped off and you see the little things of what he's hunting.
Yeah.
With the snake who hunted the mouse, or the bear, or what we said it before. Was it the wolf?
It was a wolf.
The fox, wolf. And that was hunting. The fact that he was able, you see where he's looking for the superior creature here. Mm-hmm. Then he comes across humans and it's like, you're not a threat. You're not a threat. Oh, I see you as a threat. And he totally shitted on the female because she's a female, and she was able to whip his ass.
Well, he didn't see her as a threat. He didn't see her as a threat when she got in the trap, because she was trapped.
It's just trapped.
So he didn't see her as a threat because she wasn't holding a weapon. Because the minute that he saw them with a weapon, he was like, "Oh, there's a threat." Because
weapons usually made the difference.
Yeah, he was hunting her.
Yeah. So like when she fought him with his brother, that's when the Predator realized, oh, she is a threat. But when she was just hiding from the bear, and he was like, all right, because that's how they've always been.
Yeah.
Like they don't give a shit. They're race. They're gender agnostic. Right. They're about
these hands are ready for everyone.
These hands are ready for you. Like even when he went up to her and she was fighting him with her brother, and then she gets, or she's fighting running away, she gets caught. She's like, I don't want this. I'm done. So like they've always been pretty agnostic on what you're about. If you're just in whatever the situation is, then he underestimated her and all that other stuff. And we also, throughout the entire movie, we build up this whole thing that what was her name? I have it here. that Naru like is really smart. Her brother has been acknowledging this. Very intelligent, a great hunter, a great tracker.
Yeah.
And you see throughout the entire movie the little things that she's noticing to make herself a better warrior. And it all comes together in the end. I feel with the movie, what they did was like how she beats the Predator, it all built up because it didn't feel, it didn't feel like it came out of nowhere. It all just built on the things she learned throughout the process. The medicinal herb, the noticing how the helmet works when she was with her brother and noticing it went to the tree, which was a big callback. Like nothing was lucky in her situation.
Right.
Which I really enjoyed in the that
Yeah,
she
I
was
don't
just
think
the
it was
better
lucky
she
at
was
all.
the better hunter than the Predator.
Yeah.
And it showed, and I really enjoyed that.
And it's like even like you can kind of see the foreshadowing of the character becoming a better hunter, like when she did the whole thing with the tomahawk, when she tied the rope to it. Like the warriors were shitting on her, but it's like no, it became a great tool, a great asset in her arsenal. And everything she did, like with the gun, with learning how to use that, and like I told him about the medicinal herbs, just paying attention to like how he didn't see the guy on the floor, just everything. Again, she was a well-written character. It felt like she did become that threat and that she was the better hunter, and it was just fun just watching her go through all this. Like she knew what was going on. No one listened to her because like, well, you're just the woman, you go collect stuff in the field. The only one who like you pointed out was her brother, because like even the chief didn't recognize it. The guys who were always around her, they were like, even when she fought, she
threw hands. Wait, we was like, we're taking you back, and she said, nah, fuck this, you can't do these hands first, bro. I was hype. I was like, she fucking you up, kid. You over there with a whole like bloody nose and just like looking a hot mess, and then she starts to walk away, and homeboy kicks her out. I was like, oh, you a bitch. Oh, come on.
But I like that's what they did, because it's like it didn't make her seem weak. She was able to hold her own. She wasn't one of those female protagonists that was
so like that whole sequence, they're showing like, oh man, they did so good, because you're seeing the like she's capable shooter. Like you saw her with the bow.
She took out the mountain lion. If she hadn't fallen, she would have been able to get
right.
that.
So there's all these little subtle things that you're like, this it didn't feel like it was just given. Like, oh yeah, she's just gonna be the hero. She earned like every bit of that through like all of what she's been working towards.
My theory is I think she killed the lion. I don't think her brother did. I think her brother carried her back. Yeah, you did.
Like, let me get credit for this, kind of thing. And he admitted it to her as well. He's like, if you hadn't weakened it, I wouldn't have been able to do nothing.
Right.
That was yours. But she learned from it.
I mean, after seeing Prey, I do want to see Amber Mid-Thunder in more movies, because she was just awesome as this character, and I will love to see her.
Sequences were incredibly done.
Yeah,
so good. Because like I think to some degree we're not used to like hand to hand like that in a Predator movie. Like if memory serves, we don't have like a lot of like fast, quick movements like her and her brother were doing. Like that was like just pure like,
well, even in
flow, it would look so good.
Even in Predator, Dutch couldn't hold his own with a hand-to-hand combat against the Predator, and he was a bigger dude. She was just and it's like she knew about her surroundings. She used her environment, which just showed again that she was just a better fighter. She knew like the terrain and all that, and that was the one thing that the Predator did not have.
Also picking up on that it bled, and they were just like, oh yeah, if it bleeds, we're good. The Predator kills were like fucking bonkers, man.
When he took out the Frenchman as well as her crew, I was like, oh man, he's killing everybody. He's killing everybody.
That's what I needed. So just needed solid Predator kills.
You just saw like the horses get away, and I was like, oh, y'all motherfuckers.
Oh, when the guys were the binoculars?
y'all dead already. Like y'all dead and y'all just don't
They
know
don't
it.
even see it
You
yet.
don't know it.
Oh,
Yeah.
No, I felt
man.
bad for the guy in the field when her buddy who was running with her, one of her clanmates, and he just got
Bro.
caught in the field like that. I was like, oh, you just saw, like, you didn't see you just saw on the grass. I was like, oh, he's done. And he had no chance.
But
No, yeah.
but I appreciate because they like they showed
That scene with the net and it shrunk and it like, oh my god, I could not believe that. I was like, what? I had to rewind that.
if I'm
Yeah.
not
No, all of the I also like just how brutal that the Predator was in this one. Either very primitive, very brutal, very hand to hand. Even those types of weaponry that he used, the shield, the spear gun, the nets, and his fists.
yeah.
Yeah.
Shield kills.
It was
I-
just
I- on the
so
opposite
different
end-
from what we're used to in a Predator movie. How they really love the turret gun. Like that's one of their favorite things is the turret gun. I'm curious if this Predator though was on a trial, like his own rite of passage. Like she had her rite
I
of
think
passage.
it was.
And
Yeah,
he
I
I
had
think
no.
it
Yeah.
was because I mean he was left there, and I think they all go through that process
Yeah,
when
it
we
is.
see them
Yeah.
in each movie.
It's
So
each predator it's a rite of passage for them. They have to hunt the creatures that are the most dangerous and bring back the trophies. That's why
and
he always knows what
it's
the
like
trophy faces.
500 or something. Like it's I only learned about a bunch of like their history because I watched Death Battle like not too long ago and with him and Boba Fett, and like oh my god,
did
like
they have the Predator fight Boba Fett?
Yeah.
Oh, I have to look that one
it
up.
was actually pretty good. It was actually pretty good.
I like that battle.
Yes.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One of the best that I've seen.
I also want to give them credit where credit's due. Not only were they like super conscious of like having Indigenous Americans like play like these characters, but like the language, the culture, like everything, but also like we know that Comanches were like known warriors, so like that, like just like they're not.
Well, they did a whole thing. They did an internship program, so they had folks who were Comanche descent working on the movie. It's the first. There's a Comanche dub. It's the first movie with full Comanche audio. I know the director originally wanted the native language spoken in the movie to be Comanche, but I think at that time, because the way this movie was being developed at the same time the Predators were being developed, the 2018 one. So, but that was like from the jump, this movie was supposed to be in Comanche, but they didn't get to it. So they did in English, but they then did the dub, so you can listen to it. You can listen to everything in Comanche if you want to.
Yeah.
It's a full audio script of it, which is really great.
Yeah.
They did an incredible job with that and like honoring that kind of like historical accuracy.
Well, like people now are like, they're calling for, because how this one did so well. People are like, oh, we want to see the Predator take on samurais now, and they're people like we want to see the actor who played Scorpion. What's his face? I can't remember his name.
I know you're talking about.
They're like
guy,
they want to see
he's in
him.
Scorpion. He was in Wolverine.
Yeah.
He was in Last Samurai. He was in Endgame. The one Japanese actor that everyone fucking knows that's not Ken Watanabe. Yes.
That dude who's always like the side character who
with
needs
the deep ass voice, and you just want to hear him yell in Japanese all the time. I know. Yeah.
But like I wouldn't be against having her return to take on Predators again. But that's like, I think it's just. I don't know. I think it's just a great way to move on to now another period piece with the Predators with a little bit of updated technology taking on other people. But I would love to see
Sonata.
Yeah. He was also in Jack Snyder's zombie movie.
He fought a Yakuza. It's different. That was the Yakuza he fought. Guy was still talented, still can still throw hands with swords, but he was a Yakuza, not a Shogun area samurai.
So the only thing I'm curious if they did like start doing like try to do like period pieces, because obviously like
I don't see a samurai beating a predator.
I also don't see them like going for samurai, because samurais.
If you look at Predator 2 and how when he gave Danny Glover's character an old gun, they've been coming to Earth for many years and they see humans as prey. Even in Predator, how they said like in the summer when it got hot, that's when the men went missing and all that. They've been coming around, so it would make sense that they probably would come and hunt
Right.
samurai. They're gonna come and look for the again, that's their rite of passage.
Mhm.
So it was already hinted in Predator and in Predator 2, and we could see in Predators that
No,
they were stealing humans and
that
dropping
they've
them on
been
this planet.
coming here for a long time.
Right.
We know that in the lore. We also know. I'm just trying to see something as far as like how well it worked with this very first one, because this is
Yeah.
supposed to be the very first time
Right.
that they've come to Earth. Now, if we add more period pieces, does a samurai make sense? The way their
Not
culture
quite.
and their style is, I don't see that being an entertaining movie. I see Predator winning that one.
Which I wouldn't be opposed to it. Like, let's say the Predator wins one. It happens. Like, think about it. Like, it'd probably be a depressing ending, but at the same time, it's like you get that fleeting moment. Because at the end, the Predator
Is that really a Predator movie?
But let's be honest, it's a Predator is a superior hunter. Even if you made it like into a show, the Predator is always going to be one of the superior hunters. Because even in the comics, there are moments where the Predator wins. And it's because the Predator again,
yes.
yeah. And so, I mean, I wouldn't be opposed to them giving a movie as long as it's well written. Them giving a movie where the Predator wins. I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, we get that with Star Wars, with The Empire Strikes Back, where the bad guys win. Why not give us a Predator movie that way?
I'm going to be on the other side of this, where I don't want them to do any more of this kind of movie, because I think it was so well done. And if they try to recapture the magic that was this movie, they're not going to do it justice at all.
But you know, it's Hollywood. It's Hollywood. They're going to do it.
Well, the thing is though, like this movie, like is such an illusion of the first movie. That's what like we haven't had Schwarzenegger Predator in so fucking long,
right?
That we get one and it's done in a 2022 style with how they do the scenery and the cinematography and the filming. It was just fucking beautiful before all the chaos happened. And so it felt like the first Predator when like shit's going down. Obviously, we know that as the viewer, it's a Predator. Versus in the 80s, no one knew what it was. Right. But we knew, and we're trying to see how they come together and how they clash. And so I agree with you, Law.
I forgot that they gave the Predator a name. Like it was something from like their lore. Like something from their like storytelling. Like, it's a scary story that you tell your kids.
But I agree. I don't think we need to do continuous period pieces of the Predator showing up in, I don't know, feudal Japan or during like part one script was that there was a Predator hunting people on a boat, on a ship, or like I think that's going to take away from the magic of what these movies are. You know, I think they did Predator 2 in the city because they were like, fuck it, we did the jungle. It's the 80s. Die Hard and Lethal Weapon. Let's put a Predator in the city, like, and see what happened. Put him in fucking LA. Like, that's why they did it. Like, that's it. And he's dealing with gangs and all this other shit. And crazy ass Gary Busey.
Go ahead, so sorry.
No, so like, and I think what was cool about Predators was that they decided to, okay, we're instead of doing a period piece, we're going to take different killers or different fighters who have different styles and put them on the planet and have our Predators hunt them. So, you know, you had the cartel, you had the Marine, you had the Yakuza, like you had all these different things, which I thought, and that movie was exactly what it was supposed to be about. Hunters fighting killers, and it worked out really well, and it was an enjoyable movie. It was like, it's essentially just a Robert Rodriguez popcorn flick, which is cool.
I also think the big thing is, like, for this is showing a predator versus a predator, because like for all intents and purposes she is also a predator. Like they are hunters, so like showing a Yakuza member, like Yakuzas aren't necessarily hunting people in the same regard as like something that a predator would do or what she was doing. So like unless we can get that same essence of like a hunter or someone who is highly skilled in that like kind of you know, eclectic, like, you know, collection of skills, it's probably not going to hit.
What I think what I would like to see, and again, it's getting back into, because now it's like it's Disney doing these films now because that came with the whole Fox deal. Because
no, it's Fox. It's Fox with Disney producing.
Yeah,
it's not a Disney movie. It's just people are just saying that.
They put it on Hulu. It's on Disney Star across the sea.
It's just Disney's collecting checks. That's all it is. They don't give a shit.
But I mean, there are talks that again there is an Alien show in development. It would be interesting if they do a Predator show. It would be interesting if they actually look at the lore. Because what would be cool is that maybe like we get a future
Wait,
piece.
question. You said an alien show like Aliens, like Sigourney Weaver Aliens show?
Yep.
Like a series?
They've been talking about doing a series.
And
I
did
think that
shorts. When were the shorts? Like 3 years
the
ago?
shorts, the shorts were like 3 years ago, and the shorts were really done very, very well.
Thank you, George.
But no, it would be interesting if they did go that route, and it would be interesting to see the aliens and the colonial marines take on each other, because the colonial marines, and I remember reading in the comics again, the Aliens versus Predator comics, when they're being attacked by the predators, they're like, yeah, we took them out, we snuffed them out and everything, and these two cadets were talking, and the guy asked them, so what happened? Is like they found out they were stronger, came back with better weapons, and started hunting us again. I'm like, oh, that would just, I mean, I would love to see something like that, like, just a whole war and something like that.
Yeah, I think it should be. I think at this point, I don't know what else we can do with another. I mean, even in Prey, if you look, people were talking about the credits, and like you see the Comanche pictures on the talking about like how there's a future and the ships are coming in and it's her people against the predators.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if we would get that movie, but I think if we do get another Predator movie, to Lost Point is what we're thinking, it should definitely be a hunter versus a hunter, but in a different style, in a different time period. But also, let's go far future then. Let's just figure like how do we want to do it? I don't want to rehash the same thing over
What
and
if
over
there
again.
is another species that exists outside of aliens that is just as much of a
Well,
hunter
Well, in the Aliens
that we
versus
can
Predator
get something
universe,
new?
no, in the Aliens versus Predator universe, and in the whole Aliens lore in the comics, what they were doing is that there are other creatures. There were other creatures that were worse than the aliens, when they had talked about it. And even when Weyland Yutani and the corporations got involved, they did a lot of genetic manipulation stuff. Like there was a king alien that they had genetically altered in the Aliens comics, but in Aliens versus Predator, they have a lot that they can pull from the comics. Like when the Marines had like specialty weapons to fight the Predators, they were beating them and everything, they were taking them out, but then the Predators saw them as the species to hunt, and it backfired. And I was like, I would love to see that as a story told, whether it be a show or on the big screen. I think it could do better as a show because you can do multiple episodes on it, kind of like what they did with Halo, that sci-fi aspect and everything. But they have so much store that they could pull from the comics, and now that Marvel has the rights to do the stuff, you have because I think right now Marvel's been doing a lot of stuff with the aliens in the comics right now. There's a lot of new alien stuff that they're introducing.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I just think like we got a really good Predator movie. I think we need to get, maybe this director can do an Aliens movie, because the Prometheus
Do
saga
we need it though? Like I don't think I need to see another Predator movie. Give me something new.
No, I'm saying Aliens. Like Aliens. We'll go back like
Did we? So I watched the first Prometheus and I enjoyed it, and a lot of people are like about it, and then the second one, universally no one liked it, and I get why. Like, and I'm
which
like,
one? Oh, Covenant?
yeah,
I don't know what they're doing with that shit, man.
like
Me and
Prometheus.
Seabass saw it, and we're like, I don't know what's going on
So
here.
Prometheus, I watched, and I was like, is this? And then as they kept going, I was like, oh shit. And then I was
Prometheus
like,
was cool as a non-alien thing, and they added the space jockey to it.
Well, the space jockeys were always involved in some way with the aliens, but the way they did it and the way Ridley Scott did it, I think he kind of messed up his stuff, because you're trying to do this whole new thing with how the aliens were being introduced, how they were created and everything, when you had a different way what people did in the comics. There's a reason I feel like he didn't do the second movie, because like you could see the difference between the first movie and the second movie, but Prometheus was just, we don't really count them because they're just like, it messes up the lore, and we lost a movie that was supposed to be done by the Edgar, I believe it was Edgar Wright. He was supposed to do an alien movie,
and it was supposed to Aliens, right?
It was supposed to be a sequel to Aliens. He was bringing back Sigourney Weaver. He was bringing back the actor Michael Biehn who played Hicks. He was bringing back an older version of Newt, and it was like, it felt like it was going to take place again from some of the stuff comic. There was concept art, and it got canned because 20th Century Fox at the time decided to do the sequel to Prometheus and wanted to do this stuff with they were like, yeah, it doesn't coincide with what Ridley Scott was doing. A lot of people wanted that sequel. A lot of people didn't like what Ridley was doing, even though he was the one who helped create the concept for Aliens and everything. They didn't like a lot of stuff. They didn't like the whole thing with David. And I remember, again, we talked about it a long time ago. And it was just, it wasn't that great of a movie, and it didn't do any. It was one of those movies that really hurt the Alien lore, and fans were just like, we could have done without
I guess
this.
I'm enough removed from Alien lore that when I watched Prometheus, I enjoyed it, and then like when they gave the alien twist at the end, I was like, oh, okay, like cool. But I didn't like. I'm not invested enough to like know that. Oh, it's a whole to do.
Well, in the first Alien movie, that was the craft. It was a space jockey ship that Sigourney Weaver's character Ripley and her first team went on. That was the space jockey ship. It was supposed to always lead into that, on how did that ship get there? How did they find that derelict ship in the first movie? And the space jockeys were in again the comics, and they were also still a threat to humanity. So the space jockeys.
I don't even know what the space. You guys lost me on this. I what the hell is the space jockeys? And
I'll bring.
I guess I don't care enough about.
I mean, you don't get a lot. You don't get a lot of them about in the regular Aliens, Alien 3, and Resurrection. Like it really isn't much.
Right.
An alien is just the guy in the ship. In Prometheus, they talk about this whole thing about the space jockeys who were the progenitors of humanity. By giving their DNA,
bullshit.
Giving their DNA, and that's how humanity was created. Mixing in. And you fast forward a couple of years, and they find a space jockey ship, and that's essentially what it is. So they tried to tie something in Aliens 1 to Prometheus. That's how they tied them together. And then at the end, you get some weird fucking alien xenomorph looking thing. And then Michael Fassbender's character develops it more in Covenant.
Yeah,
I don't know. I just
where do we go? Where do we lose track? Where do we?
No, it's not that. It's just that usually Aliens and Predator are very much tied together.
Yeah.
So like when you see one doing well, you want to see the other one doing well. Well, that's kind of how I look at it. So like we haven't had a good Alien movie in a long time, and we haven't had a solid Predator movie in a long time, and now we got our Predator movie, and now in my head I'm thinking, all right, well, let's get a fucking good Alien movie. Yeah. And
like, I don't think the last Predator movie was bad. I mean, the guy, it was good. I thought it was okay. I didn't think it was that bad.
I mean, I guess it's because it's like we're having look into the lore with the comics and everything. Predator,
I don't follow any of the comic books. I didn't even
comics
know
are good. Yeah, Dark Horse had owned the rights for a long time. They were done by Dark Horse. You can get like the compendiums now that collects all the entire series for Aliens versus Predator, and then Aliens. And there's some really great stories that they did with them. Even like in the comics, they went so deep into the aliens' DNA. Like again, when the mad scientist had created the King alien, it was a battle between the King and the Queen. It was really nuts. And the panels were just fantastic. And again, there were so many Space Marines that were cannon fodder between the Aliens and the Predator. So many people died. So gory, but it was these were really great stories that a lot of people missed out on. Unless you knew about Dark Horse and their run, you missed out on some great Aliens Predator stories. And again, you could still go out there and get the compendiums because they're like this thick and it's like volumes.
Don't you have them all?
I have all the Aliens ones. I gotta get the Predator and the Aliens versus. I have a few of the Aliens versus Predator ones. And again, in the Aliens versus Predator compendium, the comics, it followed the book. So they literally took the book and made it into a comic. And so everything that happened, and again, like Maguchi, she knew what the Predators were called. They were called like the Yutja or something like that in the comics, and she know their way of life and everything. I was like, that would be an interesting character after who we saw in Prey for them to actually focus on, because again, it's a strong female protagonist who actually lived amongst the Predators and became a better efficient hunter after learning from them. Like she knew all their customs and everything. Like by the end, she got the brand on her head. She showed the alien queen head to the predators that came to see what happened and everything, and they took her amongst their clan. And there was always that one predator who did not like her, so they became like arch rivals and everything. There's some really great stories in it. I'm gonna stop geeking out now.
No, man. I mean, that's kind of what I'm more towards looking towards the future and getting us off Earth at this point, because it just feels like we're containing ourselves.
Yeah, those stories will because like they even have a dude that was like a mix between Lobo and like Deadpool in some ways, where he was going out there and just murdering aliens. He was just like red bandana, shades, and all that. He had his hand eaten by an alien. He chased it like, "You ate my fucking hand," and just chased him with a big ass gun and all that. It was a funny read. But I was like, yeah, that would just be like some weird shit. Like they have a lot of characters that if they want to bring to the screen, they can. There's a lot of lore with aliens, and there's a lot of lore with Predator that they can literally do a Star Wars and Marvel version of Aliens versus Predator, if they actually get the right people to do it.
Yeah.
And that was Seabass's Midoriya rant.
Yep. I did it.
It's like, this is mine. Yes, all right. Good job.
So, if that wraps up Prey and Sandman, what is next week's topics?
Because I mean, we could do See Paper Girls. I mean,
Paper Girls, Sandman.
I don't think we're ready for C yet.
I can't. I'm finishing Sandman between Thursday and this week with Jackie and I are finishing Sandman. And what is next week? So the 16th. The 16th.
Has Jackie been enjoying Sandman?
She's been enjoying it. She likes some of the episodes. She doesn't like some. She likes some. She doesn't like them. She loved the Lucifer episode. Loved the Death episode. Didn't really care for the diner. And and for me, like I told you, the reason why I think the whole thing with Lupin kind of fell flat is because he got out of the thing, went to the diner, did all this shit, and then Dream dealt with him, and I was like, okay. Where's the rest of it? Just felt like what happened. I felt like there was an episode missing between the diner and when he did his thing with Dream. That felt flat for me. But we really we really love Gwendolyn Christie as Morningstar. I thought she's fantastic. And then just
she's in there?
Yeah. She's Satan.
Awesome.
And then the Death episode with the Immortal we loved. I thought it was such a good episode. And seeing Dream go through it and trying to find his friend,
like easily my favorite episode.
So are we leaning towards everybody completing Sandman next week?
I'm down to do Sandman. I mean, we're going to start C soon. I've already talked to her about it, and I did tell her about Paper Girls, so we'll check that out. But I do know that on the 23rd,
have She-Hulk coming, and we also have House of Dragons coming.
Yeah.
What was the first one you said?
She-Hulk.
She-Hulk starts on
be covering for a while.
She-Hulk starts on the 16th, so that first episode we talk about will be on the 23rd. House of the Dragon starts on the 21st, and we'll probably talk about that also on the 23rd. So we'll have episodes of She-Hulk and House of the Dragon to talk for about at least 8 weeks, 8 to 10 weeks, and then She-Hulk continues on.
We do like 3 episodes at a time and alternate, give a few to build up, and still have wiggle room to do other things in between.
Wiggle.
It's up to you. I mean, I'm all for Game of Thrones, so I don't.
Oh, I'm down. It's a fanatic.
Let the name
content all the time at this point. So
I'm just
and then remember, once we hit September, we then have Rings of Power.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then I think what else is going to be
the series finale season of Lock and Key is tomorrow, and I'm just like, all right, I'm going to binge that tomorrow.
Also, too, next week we got Mark
Torres
based
off a comic book series on Netflix.
Cool.
We also got Mark Torres next week. He's coming on from he came from the radio. He's gonna be talking about his new comic next week. Mark did a comic, awesome. Congratulations, Mark.
Good shit.
But we could do it like that in 3 episodes. Just cover 3 episodes, so this way we can alternate. And
gotta make a list, people. Gotta make a list.
Yeah.
I nominate you guys. We will make a list for everybody. I mean that's a pretty good way to end the note. Got a good episode next week.
So next week we're looking at Sandman. Is that
Yeah.
We'll finish
the
up
plan?
Sandman, and if we get through Paper Girls and Seed, then we can add them in.
Yeah,
Keiko.
we know Pong will jump on for Sandman.
Ideally, I would like Paper Girls to follow. If we can all get on board with that, because that'll be really great.
Oh yeah.
Right, Law?
I'm just
That's 8 episodes, right?
I'm gonna drink my
Yeah.
non-brand, nondescript drink.
Me too.
Of course it is.
Ugh,
Kombucha.
kombucha. Just
I'm sorry
weird
for that.
tea.
Listen,
Probiotic tea.
you enjoy your healthy stomach. Some of us need to drink this every once in a while.
This is true. Prey is a movie that
Yeah.
should have been released in theater.
Definitely should have given a theater release. I would have gone to see it.
Also, too,
I actually didn't think. Originally, I was like, I don't know that I would watch it in theater, but like, I'm so glad that I watched it, and I'm like, damn, I would have actually watched it in the theater.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I think
I
it
wanna
deserved
get-
a theater release, but
I
it
wanna
was
get-
good. It was very good.
I want to get everybody's thoughts on Batgirl canceling.
Did we talk about
No,
that?
Did we
we
talked
spoke
about that
about
already.
that last week.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
No
Yeah,
one
we did.
cared.
Yeah. Raphael was the guy with the who lost his foot.
Mm.
That's what they said he is in the casting anyway.
Yeah, man. I
Who's
again.
Raphael?
The guy who gave her the gun, the translator.
Right. But who
Oh, I
is
like.
he?
His name is on that gun, and then that gun shows up in Predator 2. That's the gun that the Predator gives to Danny Glover.
Oh.
Full
Connection.
Yeah.
Boom.
Which when everyone saw it in Predator 2, it was like, holy shit, these things have been coming to this planet since forever, and now it's like,
And also, too, it was in Predator 2 that they showed the alien skull
yes, it
in
did.
the cabinet, and that's when
Yes.
they hinted that the aliens and the Predators existed in the same universe.
Yes, I remember seeing that as a kid, and I'm like, holy shit, when are we getting this movie? And then we got it in 2003, and I was like, holy shit, this movie's awful.
Exactly. I'm mind blown.
Oh my god. There's a couple things you remember from Predator 2. Gary
Yeah.
Busey being crazy, the
I don't-
alien skull,
I haven't seen it since I was a child.
the heart being ripped out of the dude.
I do remember that. And I remember Danny Glover, and I remember being in a city.
Danny Glover in LA.
And the fact that this was the third creature to kill off Bill Paxton,
Mm.
because he was
I'm
killed by
confused.
Bill Paxton was killed by a Terminator. Bill Paxton was killed by an alien, and then Bill Paxton was killed by the Predator. Actor would get killed by all three popular movie creatures.
So real talk. I know we're Spanish goodbye at this point, but one of my favorite movies to just to watch.
When was he killed by
What's
a
up?
Terminator?
Wow,
And the first
that's a
Terminator
very
movie.
strong.
Oh, for Nope. I haven't seen it yet. I heard great things.
I've
That's
heard
interesting.
nothing but great things. That's the first I heard of that take.
Oh.
Nope.
I
A floating jellyfish? That doesn't sound good in any way.
We're not going to talk about it, and we're
Let's
not going to do
talk about-
spoilers.
I haven't seen it.
Okay.
Yet. I haven't seen it yet.
I haven't seen it either, but he just
What did I watch?
And
I was watching Starship Troopers recently.
Oh man,
Starship
haven't done that
Troopers.
in a minute.
So I love it. I love that movie so good. It has
Rico's Roughnecks.
Rico's Roughnecks. Yeah. I fucking it's such a fun movie, and it
Yeah,
has
it is.
so many levels of meaning that transcend, because when you're an adolescent, you're like, oh yes, bugs and people dying and gore. And it's like, and then now, oh yes, it's an allegory of fascism. I'm here for it. I want to watch it all.
Girl, Predator was a Padawan.
was a
Predator.
Padawan.
Essentially,
I mean,
Yeah.
essentially, aren't they all? Don't they all start off that way?
I
They're
don't-
trying to
Anyway,
get their
I don't-
stripes, basically.
I don't know. I don't know if the one in Schwarzenegger's was a Padawan, because if we're going by how the movie lore
Oh. Yeah. Okay.
is, because he had his shoulder cannon, and then in Alien vs Predators they made it so the shoulder cannons were like a thing you had to get. So I don't know if he was a Padawan. I think this one here was like a Padawan.
Yeah, he was definitely in training.
I think
it was the rite of passage.
the
It
one
was the rite of passage.
the one with Schwarzenegger, he was on a hunting trip that went wrong. That's I think happened to him. You know, that's what it was.
He met Dutch.
Yeah, that's what that shit was. You know.
Yeah, but now that you saw Bill Paxton, yes, and just to bring it up again, killed
It's
by
been
a Terminator.
long time that I've seen the first Terminator.
I know. I always watch Terminator 2. It just always
Terminator 2 to me is it. That's it.
You don't watch Terminator 1.
Yeah.
You gotta watch
So
Terminator
that
1.
didn't even hit.
That was the movie that helped Schwarzenegger's career after what, Hercules in New
Okay,
York.
old man.
What are you talking
That's
about?
the one you
Was it
remember
Conan?
more.
Was it Conan?
It was
before
also
that?
Conan. Yeah, Conan was
What are you
before that,
talking
too.
about?
But they did Terminator on a shoestring budget, though.
I understand the
But Terminator 2, I get it. Terminator 2.
The revenants of what Terminator stands for, but Terminator 2 is groundbreaking. Just like how Ridley Scott's
your man
Alien is
went
like
through
cool,
the metal.
But
Bars?
Alien,
Like, come on,
Listen,
T-1000 was
Icon-
the most, bro.
iconic.
At that time,
It's like your
we
parents.
wasn't seeing nothing like
What was
that.
it? Your step parents are dead.
Right.
come with me if you want to live. Like,
I
come
was
on,
just
man.
gonna say
Come
that.
on, dude. Terminator 2. Like, when Antonio's gonna watch Terminator, we're starting with 2. That's what's happening. Like, you want to watch a really good movie? All right, here we go.
Yes,
We're
Terminator
starting with
2.
2. And if it's like you want to watch 1, we can watch 1. You want to watch Rise of the Machines? You want to watch the rest of that bullshit? Go ahead. But you're gonna watch 2, and you're gonna tell me that this shit's awesome.
I don't know if kids like what we liked back then.
My
Kids
kid,
today is different.
almost a carbon copy of me, so he's all into that shit. Let me see. Was the blood? I don't know. I will say so. This is my one gripe with Prey, is that I am a fan of the original look of the Predator from the 80s. So like when we got the look of the Predator after he ripped his mask off, it looked like, you know, whatever those Predators were in the school one with the kid. I'm always been a bigger fan of like the original
Design.
the original look. Yeah, it's such a good monster
Well, it was
design.
2 different versions in the Predators.
No, I
and-
know. No,
I
I
think
know.
yeah,
But
I
it's
think
just-
the whole thing with the feral predator, it was just showing them at a age that they were different technology from what we're used to seeing.
Yeah,
in
it's
Predator.
300
It was-
years in
yeah.
the past. It's just
I don't think they were
different.
thinking about. Go ahead, I'm sorry.
No worries. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, like, I don't think they were looking to go into deep into lore like Bad Bloods and all that, and deep into the Yacha culture with them. I was just like, it's an earlier Predator. This is a version we're getting. The technology is different from what we're seeing with the phaser blasters and everything, and just the way that this Predator fights. And it's like, again, with them coming to Earth, they just probably adapted to how humans hunt and all that, which.
Yeah, no, that's fine. I was just saying I'm a bigger fan of the original look with like the prosthetics.
1 and
all
2.
that stuff.
You're
Yeah,
one
I
ugly
just-
son of a.
It's just such a good look, you know.
Yeah.
It's just such a good look for a movie monster.
I don't think this
You know?
one was too bad. I mean, we don't really see his face much. He has that. His helmet is also very predated, like
Oh,
very
his helmet
old.
was dope. I thought
Yeah.
his whole spiel, his whole like the helmet being really like a skull with the technology integrated with his weapons being more primitive. I thought the look of the armor and all that for the Predator is always very cool. It just reminded me of because you know we saw in the other Predators movie from 2018 that there were 2 different types and they look different. And you got like the original OG ones, and the one we saw in this one looks like the smaller one in the Predators movie from 2018. And I just wasn't a fan of that look of the Predator. Whatever, I don't care. But it's a minor gripe. I don't really give a shit. You don't really see him that often. It's just if I'm gonna pick a needle out of a haystack, I'm gonna but like overall, Prey's fantastic.
It reminded me of this. I felt like a kid again because it reminded me of this, like the old Predator toys in the 90s.
Yes.
That's the feel I got. I was like, oh, and they had all the different Predators and the aliens and all that. That's the feel I got. I had a few of those. What happened to them? I don't know. Anyway, that's our Spanish goodbye.
Yeah.
So next week we've got Sandman. We've all committed to being up to date.
Yes.
Yep, we're gonna finish up on Sandman. We'll rope Pong in on that one too. Get the mighty
we have
Pong
a guest
on. We have
also.
guest Mark Torres.
Great.
And potentially Paper Girls. We'll see.
We'll
and
see.
potentially Paper Girls the following week, and I guess we're going to
yeah.
lean on to She-Hulk the next week after, right? That's the plan right now.
Well, She-Hulk and House of the Dragon, because
Right.
She-Hulk and House of the Dragon will be the same day at least for the first
So
episode.
For the series, yeah.
So for this upcoming week, we would do
Full Sandman.
And potentially Paper Girls.
I'll try to get at
Sounds
least
good.
a couple episodes in so that we can.
Even if we got
discuss
at
it.
least, yeah, we're halfway. We're
Cool.
the halfway point.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's been another fun episode of Nerds. It's cool down in here. The heat's not, was hot earlier.
Takes until like 8 o'clock to get cool over here, but it is what it is. AC's like running like a fucking engine outside, man.
I feel bad for those in the neighborhood whose ACs have broken. Thank God it has not. I mean, oh man.
I think I will die.
But this has been your boy Sebastian
Baby Boy Law.
Your boy Tone from across the hall.
with
Last but not least, Vmac. Thank you, guys.
Hey.
And we will see y'all later.
Take it easy, guys.
peace.